Hey everybody, welcome to the Raw Reset. I'm Amber, and today I want to talk about what has happened over the last 6 months of my life and how a single decision completely changed the trajectory of my future. January 1st, 2026, I made a decision that most people around me thought was crazy, extreme and crazy. I went from eating a standard American diet full of junk food to eating a raw vegan diet overnight. There was no transition, there was no easing into it. I made the decision and went full steam ahead. Now, before anyone thinks I'm saying everyone should do exactly what I did, that's not the point of this video. The point is that I reached a moment where I knew I couldn't keep doing what I had always done and expect a different result. I had spent years and years and years struggling with my health. Years and years and years, a lifetime struggling with my weight. Years struggling with food addiction. Years feeling trapped inside my body, a body that was not functioning the way I wanted it to. And I finally reached a place where I realized that if I wanted something different, I was going to have to become someone different. And that doesn't mean becoming a different person or changing my personality or anything like that. It means becoming the person God created me to be before all the habits, addictions, fears, excuses, and limitations piled up over the years. So today I want to tell you exactly what happened, the good, the hard, and the surprising, and the victories, and the setbacks, and the lessons I hope will help someone watching this who may be feeling really stuck right now. Because if you're feeling stuck, I know exactly what that feels like. I lived there for a very, very long time. When I started this journey, I wasn't just carrying a lot of extra weight. I was carrying a lot of fear. I was carrying a lot of discouragement. I was carrying years and years of unhealthy habits. I was carrying diagnoses. I was carrying the belief that maybe this was just how my life was going to end up or be. Maybe this was just my future. Maybe feeling bad every day of my life was normal. Maybe all this pain was just the way it is. Maybe having extreme exhaustion was just the way I had to live. And maybe being on all these medications were just completely normal because everyone else was on medication. But deep down, something inside me kept saying there had to be a different way. It was that little voice that refused to go away. That, I believe, was the voice of God. Because every major change in my life started with God gently nudging me toward something better. The funny thing is, when God calls you into something, He usually doesn't show you the whole path. He just shows you the next step, and then asks whether you'll trust Him enough to take it. That's exactly what happened here. I took the first step, and 6 months later, my life looks completely different. Now let's address the thing most people want to know. How much weight did you lose? Well, I lost about 30 pounds, and I'm grateful for every pound released. But if I'm being completely honest with you, weight loss isn't even in the top 5 most important things that have happened. I know that probably sounds a little weird because everybody wants to lose weight. Weight loss is what always gets all the attention. It's what people see, and weight loss is what shows up in thumbnails. But weight loss has honestly become one of the least exciting parts of this journey because what I've gained is worth so much more than what I've lost. I've gained a sense of freedom. I've gained confidence. I've gained energy. I've gained hope. I've gained purpose. I've gained a completely different relationship with food. And perhaps most importantly, I've gained a deeper relationship with God. Let's talk about food addiction now, because this has probably been the single biggest transformation in my life. Most of my life, food controlled me. Maybe some of you understand exactly what I'm talking about. You wake up thinking about food. You go to sleep thinking about food. You plan your day around food. You reward yourself with food. You comfort yourself with food. You celebrate with food. You cope with stress using food. You cope with sadness using food. Food becomes so much more than nourishment. It becomes your emotional support. And when food becomes an emotional support, changing your diet becomes much harder than simply changing what you eat. Because now you're changing how you cope. You're changing how you self-soothe. You're changing lifelong habits. You're changing your emotional patterns. That's why so many people are struggling. It isn't because they're weak. It isn't because they lack discipline. It's because the issue is deeper than food. And that was certainly true for me. Going raw forced me to confront things I had spent years running from. There were moments when cravings weren't really cravings at all. They were just emotions. They were discomfort, boredom, stress. They were all the old patterns trying to survive. And every time I chose not to feed those patterns, I was creating a new version of myself. Was that easy? No. But healing rarely is. Think about the hardest things you've ever gone through in your life. Were they easy? No. The wounds weren't easy. The trauma wasn't easy. The disappointment wasn't easy. The heartbreak wasn't easy. So why would healing be easy? Healing takes courage. It takes honesty. It takes a lot of work. But you are worth that work. You deserve to feel vibrant. You deserve to wake up energized. You deserve to feel comfortable in your own body. You deserve to feel alive. One of the biggest surprises has been how dramatically my cravings changed. Today, I crave absolutely no cooked food, which is mind-blowing to me. I crave no junk food, which is absolutely insane to me. And I know some people hearing that will think that's impossible. I would have thought the same thing 6 months ago. But something fascinating happens when you stop feeding those cravings. They lose their power. The more processed foods you eat, the more processed foods you want. The more junk food you eat, the more junk food you crave. The more natural foods you eat, the more natural foods begin to satisfy you. Fruit became sweeter, simple foods became enjoyable, my taste buds changed, my brain changed, and my desires changed. And then one day I realized I simply didn't want the things I used to obsess over. And that freedom is absolutely priceless. Another major transformation has been my ability to fast. During these 6 months, I completed a 7-day juice fast, a 7-day fruit fast, and a 30-day juice fast. Now, I'm not saying that's for everyone or that should be everyone's protocol, but what amazed me wasn't just the fasting itself and the ability to do it. It was actually what fasting revealed. I learned that many things I thought were hunger were not hunger at all. They were habits. They were my routines. They were my emotional triggers. They were psychological patterns. Fasting gave me complete clarity. It showed me how much stronger I was than I believed I was. It showed me how often I had underestimated myself. And it showed me that God can carry you through things that seem impossible when you first begin. Spiritually, this journey has changed everything. I feel closer to God than ever before. And not because eating raw somehow makes someone holy, it doesn't, but because obedience creates closeness. When you feel called to do something and you follow through, your trust grows. And as your trust grows, your faith grows. And as your faith grows, your relationship with the Lord deepens. Over these 6 months, I've become increasingly convinced that my purpose is to help others heal. Not just physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. I want people to know that there's hope. I want people to know that they are not broken. I want people to know that transformation is indeed possible. I want people to know that no matter how long they've struggled, they are not disqualified from healing. And that's one of the reasons I've decided to launch my own community, the Raw Reset community, because I know firsthand that I could not have done this alone. Yes, I did the work. Yes, I made the decisions. Yes, I showed up every day. But community mattered so much in my success. Encouragement mattered so much in my success. Having support mattered so much in my success. Accountability mattered so much in my success. One of the greatest blessings of this journey has been being a part of Jillian Berry's Club Raw community. The people there encouraged me, supported me, inspired me, and reminded me that I wasn't doing this by myself. We all need people who understand the journey. We all need people who believe in us when we're struggling to believe in ourselves. And that's exactly what I hope to create inside my own community, which is the Raw Reset community. A place where beginners and veterans can come together. A place where people can share victories and setbacks. A place where healing is encouraged. A place where faith is welcomed. A place where people can find support while building healthier lives. If that's something you're looking for, I'd love to have you join us. As I sit here 6 months into this journey, I still have goals. I still have lots of growth and healing ahead of me. I haven't arrived at some magical finish line, but I'm no longer the person who started on January 1st. And for that, I am incredibly grateful. If you're watching this and you're feeling stuck, please hear me. You don't have to change everything today. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to know exactly how the journey will unfold. You simply need to take the next step, the step that's right in front of you. Small steps become big transformations. And one day you'll look back and you'll realize your entire life changed because you had the courage to begin. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for walking this journey with me. I hope this video blesses whoever needed to hear it today. And remember, you are worth healing. You are worth the effort. You are worth fighting for. And with God, all things are possible. God bless you.